Hi, welcome back. I am finally bringing you my thoughts on the new Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch. So this is a product that is new from Chanel. It's kind of a play off of the iconic Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Tint, which we all know I love. I was late to trying this. I've only been using it for about a year, but it has quickly become one of my staple daily makeup products. It's youthful, it's angelic. However, it is a very sheer product. You get very sheer to light coverage with this. So Chanel was like, hey, people are onto this. Like they're into this product. However, some people want a little bit more coverage. So they simply have released the Complexion Touch, and it is essentially, in my opinion, the same thing as Water Fresh Tint, except it has a little bit more pigment to it. There are a few more differences, which I'm going to get into in this video, but that's what we're going to cover today. Going to run you through this. Hopefully it's a very quick, concise video and can help you decide which one you might be into, or if you are already a Water Fresh Tint fan, if this is something you may enjoy. So let's talk about the obvious difference that I just mentioned, the coverage level. So with Complexion, and I'm going to be referring to Water Fresh Tint frequently throughout this video, so just know Water Fresh Tint is the older iconic version and Complexion Touch is the new one. I'm going to try to hold them up for you guys. Oh, don't let me forget. I got to talk about the shade that I got. I got B30, which is pretty tan for me. In the Chanel range, I would normally be the 15 to 20. But I'm pretty tan right now. This is pretty tan for me. So I got B30. It's a pretty good match. I will say it's a little orange. It's a little orange on me just because I wear SPF on my face, obviously, but it matches everywhere else on me. But I would advise, if you go off my normal videos spanning back from 2 months ago, I would probably go with the B20. If you go off of my skin tone in dead of winter, I probably would even be back down to the B10 shade. So yeah, B30 is the shade I went with for summer, and honestly I think it looks pretty good. One more difference I'm going to point out is the shade selection. The shade selection seems to be a little bit more extensive in Complexion Touch. Also, the shades are named totally different. The shades seem to be more consistent with other Chanel foundations. So the B30, B20, that's kind of how they start out their shades, and then they work off a letter and a number. Whereas with Water Fresh Tint, it was light, light medium, medium deep, totally different color system happening there. I'm smelling my hand where I just swatched it because I think it's amazing that there's zero smell. I know when stuff says fragrance free, you can still kind of smell the natural scent of whatever else is in it, but I cannot smell anything in this. If you go on the Chanel website, you will notice the percentage difference in pigment. So the Water Fresh Tint has 75% water and the Complexion Touch is 60% water. So obviously you have an elevated amount of pigment in the Complexion Touch. So that brings me into my next point. There is a difference in the size and the amount of product that you get. So you can see clearly here, Water Touch is a little bit smaller. This has 0.7 fluid ounces of product. The Water Fresh Tint has 1 fluid ounce of product. So you are losing a little bit of product, and I can only assume that they're thinking, okay, this has more pigment, so you're gonna use a little bit less of it. I normally don't elaborate on packaging, but I do want to touch on this briefly because I like both of these for different reasons. So the original Water Fresh Tint, I love. It's just iconic. It's chic, iconic. You look at it and you're like, this is an expensive, beautiful Chanel product. We love to see it. However, it is not travel friendly. If you have a small makeup bag, this is just bulky. The square makes it hard to fit other products around it. I have a super small travel makeup bag and this does not travel well with it. This, however, does. I love the sleek packaging. It is significantly smaller, and so it does fit in my bag better for travel. And just overall, I just like that. I mean, I can grip it in the palm of my hand. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Ergonomical. So yeah, iconic and beautiful over here, but practical, travel friendly on this side. Okay, let's jump into my experience, how I've been wearing it, how I have been liking this product overall. I have had this for well over 2 weeks now, and I did a little first impressions try on over on my TikTok. And the first time I used it, I was a little confused. I didn't really notice that much of a difference in the pigment. I was applying it with my fingers. And it took, I think, 2 pumps for me to be like, oh, okay, like this is layerable, definitely does give you a little bit more coverage than Water Fresh Tint does. However, my first day was not a big winner for me, and this is why I don't do first impressions in general. This is why I like to try products and see how they wear, you know, on different days with different products, different tools, application methods. So the first day I wore this, I applied it with my hands, wore very minimal makeup on top of it, and did not set it. And I remember not loving the way my face looked at the end of the day. Definitely more pigment. You guys know me. With my minimalist makeup lifestyle, more pigment equals more problems for me. So naturally, I was able to see this formula kind of sink in my fine lines and around my chin a little bit more. Did it look awful? No, not by any means, but definitely more noticeable than Water Fresh Tint because of the elevated pigment level. Now, moving on, I'm just gonna like fast forward and kind of talk you through how I think this has been wearing best on me. So I'm actually filming this. I've had this on for 7 hours. It is 4 o'clock and I put it on, I think at 9 this morning. So 6-7 hours, and I think it looks beautiful. Now, I am basically wearing a full face, and that's where I find this really weird. I think this foundation is like best friends with all of my other makeup products. Like it pairs really well with stuff on top of it. And I don't know if that's because it's kind of like that perfect medium where it's not obviously a full coverage, but it's also not super sheer. I would describe it more as like light medium plus coverage. I feel like it's tiptoeing in the medium coverage category, but not, I don't know, not in comparison to what a lot of other brands would consider medium coverage. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go with light medium plus on the coverage level. But back to like layering other stuff on top of this. I'm wearing my L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Concealer, Tower 28 blush, Makeup by Mario cream bronzer, and Laura Mercier translucent powder. And I think it excels. I think it does really well with other stuff on top of it. And I mean, I don't generally try that with Water Fresh Tint because when I throw that on, I am clearly looking for a very like sheer, natural, just no makeup vibe. With this, obviously elevated's the word, pigment is elevated, so I'm gonna kind of probably wear it in a different style. So 7-8 hours in, 6-7-8, I don't know, I didn't do the math in my head. 7, okay, it's been 7 hours. I think it looks dang good. Like honestly, looking at my skin, it has not sunken in anywhere. It kind of just looks like a really polished, this is something I would probably wear to, let's say, like a wedding or, you know, somewhere that I wanted my makeup to be a little bit more than my daily, but not overboard. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm going with for this foundation. That's kind of the vibe I want to lead with, because I think that it kind of fits into that category where you could definitely wear it as a no makeup, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think it excels in that category. I think if you're going for that look, you should just get Water Fresh Tint. So I think what I'm trying to say is this kind of is an awesome formula to just incorporate and layer in with your other products, because it has that unique serum like gel texture to it, which is really refreshing on the skin. And I just found the formula to just coexist perfectly with most things that I've put on top of it. Who do I think this is going to benefit most? Honestly, I feel like it's in a pretty versatile category, because I don't feel like Water Fresh Tint fits one specific category. I feel like it can go into several different skin types. So I think the people that are really going to enjoy this most, I see mature skin loving this. mature skin that might have some discoloration, maybe some vessels that need a little bit more coverage. I think obviously if you are the perfect angel normal skin category, you're probably not going to have any issues with this. Dry skin, same thing. And honestly, combo oily. I just, if you set appropriately, like I've been doing, which I don't normally do, I just find that it works really well with this. I don't think you're gonna have a problem. So I feel like she's like a one and doneer for all categories. Longevity, I'm gonna give it probably like solid 7 hours. Now, if you are wearing it very minimally, with like no setting powder, lots of cream emollient products, I have not found it to be the best and the most long wearing, but that's pretty obvious. I would probably put it in like a 4 to 5 hour category if you plan to wear it that way. But overall, I would say pretty solid, like all day coverage, looking at least, you know, flattering by the end of the day. Oh, I also wanted to mention I have tried this with my hands and a brush. I haven't with the beauty blender. I don't know why. Sometimes I try stuff with the beauty blender, sometimes I don't, and especially with products that already have a high water content, I don't see the point in it. So I use my hands and my brush. Honestly, don't see a huge difference either way. Some days I feel like the brush does give me a little bit more of that bonus coverage, but it's really not like anything super noticeable. Okay, I think I've touched on everything. I touched on my experience, kind of like the differences, pros and cons with packaging. Overall, I think if you like super sheer clean girl look, you'll probably just want to stick with Water Fresh Tint. I mean, I don't see any reason why you should veer out of that unless you're looking for more coverage. Now, if you want the clean girl look elevated with some coverage, let's say you have some discoloration, acne, you just need something a little bit more, this is your girl, obviously. All in all, I like both. I will use them for totally different reasons. For my natural, everyday, no makeup, we're sticking with the OG. For, you know, some days when I want to like spice up the eyes, maybe a wedding makeup look, this is a perfect in-between product. It's not too much pigment, but it's also not so sheer that you can't tell anything's on your skin. So overall, you're gonna definitely see me using this more. I think it is a beautiful formula. I do love that Chanel expanded on one of their iconic products to kind of fit a wider range of people looking for something just a little bit more. So that's how I would kind of describe this. I hope I answered your questions. Let me know if you have tried the new formula. I would love to know your thoughts as well. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.